Hi, I'm Robert Leo from YesHorsemanship.com, helping you teach your horse to say yes. And welcome to our video series, Training Dakota, a wild Mustang's journey from untrained to trail ready. In this series, we're going to be working with Dakota, a 5-year-old wild Mustang that we acquired from the plains of Wyoming, where she spent the first 5 years of her life untouched by human hands. So come, we invite you to join us for Training Dakota, a wild Mustang's journey from untrained to trail ready. Hi, I'm Robert Leo. Today we're going to be working on Dakota's first saddling. Now it's critical that the first saddling of your horse go well. And in order to get to the point where she takes the first saddle successfully, there has to have been a level of respect and trust built up with your horse. Now we've spent the summer here in Arizona taking her through the yielding exercises for a submissive horse, level 1 and some level 2. And we're fairly confident that she is submissive in all 5 of her body parts, her head, her neck and poll, her front quarters, midsection, and hindquarters. She's not perfect, but she's getting there. And I think she's ready for her first saddling. So as you can see, we do have the mask on her, and we're going to take that off. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the halter on her with a short lead rope. Come here. So now we've got the halter on her and the short lead rope in order to get her used to the saddle. We've put the saddle out in the round pen with her so she can smell it and see it. Horses don't like surprises and they hate anything new. So we've got our saddle, we've got our saddle blanket. All right, come here, girl. Now some of the things that we've done to get her respectful and trusting and submitting to the pressure is we rub her and rubbing her all over her body. Come here. Making sure she knows that I'm not going to hurt her. Got her to follow us. Come on. We've worked on leading her around the pen. We're going to take her by her saddle so she can see it. See, now she's reacting to it a little bit. That's all right. She needs to get used to the saddle. Horses are very paranoid and panicky. When a horse gets sticky feet, make them move their feet. Didn't like the saddle, so she's going to stop her feet. I want her coming up on me. All right, so I'm going to introduce her to the saddle by walking her around. I want to make sure that she maintains her distance from me. I don't want her running into me. Another thing we've been working on is keeping her backed up, calling her in, backing her up. Okay? And we've been working on yielding the hindquarters. Rub her with the stick. Yield the front quarters going the other way. Good girl. Come here. Been working on pass through. Been working on short lead driving left and right. Hindquarters, go the other direction. These are all exercises designed to build respect and trust and submission in all your body parts. Okay, good girl. Come here. Come here. Try the other foot. Good girl. Now, I'm going to put the long lead rope on her. I'm going to run her a little bit. She's got a little bit too much energy. She's a little bit too reactive. I'm not really comfortable putting the saddle on her now. She just seems to be a little too antsy. So I'm going to get the long lead rope. I'm going to run her around a little bit. Whenever your horse seems to be anxious or stubborn, don't want to move their feet, don't want to move them in the direction you're asking, it's always a good idea to build some more respect in them. How do you build respect in a horse? By moving their feet. So I'm going to back her up. This is also a fundamental exercise, getting her out of your space. I'm going to point, pluck, put some pressure on her, make her move out. I want her to move around that saddle so she gets used to seeing it. Notice how she reacted to that. Got to introduce her to it, make her feel a little more comfortable with it. Before I ever try and put that saddle on her, I want to make sure she's comfortable with it. Right now, she's not even close to being comfortable with it. She doesn't even like it being in the same space with her. But we'll change that. The way you change that is you simply keep it introduced to it. Let them know that it's not going to hurt them. Let's go the other way. All right, I'll just let her stop here. Let's just pass her through around the saddle. Let her smell it. Let her see it. Let her smell it. See, horses are lazy, claustrophobic, cowardly, paranoid, and panicky. And anything that they're not familiar with becomes a death threat to them. They don't know what it is. They're very suspicious. They don't want to get near it, as you can see from her behavior. So you have to let her see that it's not going to hurt her. Now she's doing the right thing. She's standing still, so I'm going to let her rest near the saddle. Not going to hurt you, babe. It's just a saddle. Okay, so let's move her out. Away from that saddle. Okay, good. Good girl. All right, we'll just keep doing this a little longer. Let her get used to that saddle. Notice she's not as reactive as she first was. No. Nope. Didn't say that. Go that way. Just let her wait by that saddle. Good girl. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this saddle pad and I wanna walk around her with it. I'm not gonna try and throw it on her. I'm just gonna walk around her, moving it. Letting her know it's not gonna hurt her. Let her smell it. Let her see it. Okay. I'm not gonna just run up on her and try and sneak up and throw it on her. She needs to let me put this on her. She needs to know that I'm not gonna hurt her with anything that I have. None of my tools or equipment is gonna hurt her. So I'm gonna let her see it. I'm just gonna move it around her. All right. If she moves, I'm gonna keep following her with it until she stops moving. All right. Come on. Okay. So now I got my pad. Oh, good girl. She's gonna stand still. I'll stand right here and just move it. And I'm gonna take it away. I'm gonna release the pressure. See, I want her to know that standing still is the best choice. Now, horses are very good at making you think they'll never stop moving. But believe me, walking backwards, walking sideways, it's the toughest thing for a horse to do. They're built to go forward. So walking sideways, walking backwards to try and get away from something, very uncomfortable. Eventually she'll figure out this thing's not gonna hurt her. Now I wouldn't be trying to do this unless I had some level of respect and trust with her, because I don't want her trying to strike out at me with her front feet, trying to bite me. This is later on down the list of exercises you want to do with your horse after you've gotten submission and the other exercises, yielding exercises. So just keep following her around, moving the pad. I don't want her moving forward, so I'm going to stop her there. She can move forward. Okay, now she stopped, so I'm going to release the pressure. Oh. Okay, she's moving. I'll keep following her. If she keeps moving, I'll keep following her. When she stops moving, I'll release the pressure. Okay, she stopped moving. Good girl. I'm going to reward her. Good girl. Come here. Good girl. Want to smell the pad? Okay, you can smell the pad. Okay. It's not going to hurt you, babe. Good girl. Come on. All right. Let's do it a little more. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Okay, I'm going to touch her with it, rub her with it, and put it on her back. Good girl. Good girl. Move it around. Make sure she's comfortable with it. Okay, if I see she's getting reactive, I'll slow down and reward her for standing still. Good girl. You have to be aware of your horse's temperament. This particular horse is very reactive, so I'll take her to the point where she doesn't get frightened, because if she gets frightened and adrenaline starts to pump in her system, then she stops thinking. So I'm going to take it off. Good girl. Let's go back around. Come on. Let's move her feet a little bit. Yeah. Good girl. Let's do it again. Move the saddle pad. Okay, she's standing still, and put her on her. Good girl. You never want to sneak up on your horse. you want your horse to let you do what you want to do. All right? Worst thing you can do is sort of like hide it behind your back and kind of sneak up on her, because now you're acting like a predator. Predators sneak up and act randomly, and suddenly you want to make sure she knows what you're doing. I have a saddle pad. I want to put it on your back. It's not going to hurt you. Good girl. Rub it around. Make sure she knows. She's being good. Take it off. Good girl. That's my good girl. Move around a little bit. Get those feet unstuck. Good, good. Let's do it again. Good girl. Standing still. Saddle pad on. Good girl. Maybe even throw it at her a little bit. You don't want her to be afraid of it. See? Not going to hurt you. Throw it up there, bring it down. You know, once she starts letting you put it on there, go ahead and work it. Make sure she's okay with it. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, it's a good girl. Come on. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the saddle. So I'm going to put this on my hip. It's heavy. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to let her smell it, let her see it. Only this time, I'm going to walk away with it in my hand. When you walk away from a horse with something she's afraid of, it's a little bit easier for them to get used to. See? This is not as threatening when you're moving away from a horse. And this is true with anything. If they're afraid of motorcycles, let them follow one as it drives away from them. If they're afraid of a bag on a stick, introduce it to them walking away from them. This is less threatening. Watch what happens when I turn around. I'm still walking backwards. But notice her head went up. She's getting sticky in her feet. Okay, turn around, walk away from her, not a problem. Turn toward her, and she stops. All right, that's a sign that she's, you know, suspicious of this thing. But if I can get her to walk toward me with me facing her, that's a good thing. Okay, good. That's what I want. I want her to move with me. Look, I've got this in my hand. Let her smell it. All right. So now I'm going to walk to the side of her. All right. Good girl. Yeah. She was quiet for a minute, but that's okay. I'll just keep walking around her. Just like I did with the saddle pad. Good girl. All right. Good girl. Okay, so now I'm going to walk around her with the saddle in my hand. Notice it came up on her quickly. She reacted. Alright, so now I'm going to do what I did with the saddle pad. I'm just going to walk to her side and move it until she stands still. Now, some people say, well, why don't you just force it? Why don't you just, you know, throw it on her and wrangle her down until she's ready to stand there? Well, because she's not letting you put the saddle on her, and she'll always be afraid of it. Yeah, you can smell it. See, not gonna hurt you. If she wants to smell it, I'll let her smell it. Good girl. Okay, let's keep on. Just stand here for a minute. Oh, good girl. I'm not gonna hurt you with it. It's just a saddle. And again, a horse will make you think they'll do this all day, but they won't. Eventually they'll get tired of walking backwards. No, they'll get the point. It's not going to hurt them. Just having it here is making her a little nervous, but she needs to get over that. Now, what some people might be tempted to do is when the horse gets quiet enough and the trainer's arms get tired enough, we'll just throw the saddle on her. You don't want to do that. I'm going to gently set it on her when she's ready for me to do that. Go touch her with it. Yeah, good go. Yeah, rub her with it. See, I'm just rubbing her side with it, letting her feel the saddle. It's not going to hurt you. She stood still. I'll reward her. Come on. Take away the pressure. Do it again. Come here. Okay, good. Now let's just see if I can set this on her gently. Good girl. That's a good girl. Okay, put it on her. I'm going to take it off. Let her know she did the right thing. Take that pressure off. Good girl. Come here. See if we can do that again. Be gentle. Good girl. Just move it around a little bit. Tap on it. That's a good girl. Let her know she's a good girl. She's being awfully tight. It's okay. It's okay. Let's take it off. Good girl. That's a good girl. We've introduced her to the saddle pad. Got some more work to do, but that's okay. Key in training a Mustang is patience. They've been 5 years in the wild doing whatever they want, untouched by human hands, and now you've got humans making them do stuff. So just be gentle, be patient, be kind. I'll come around. I'm Robert Leo, wishing you happy trails.